Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who's out there? It's Mina. Hi, Mina. Oh, my goodness. I wish I could get this set before I came online, but I can't. We'll leave it there for now. Good morning. This is Meri at the.meri.atelier, and today is August 24th. Oh, that's in way too far, isn't it? Welcome to my desk. Today, give you guys a ride. Today we are going to work on envelopes and owls, painted owls. I've got all my butterflies tatted here. There's more under here. When I send out these birdies, they're all done, ready to go. When I send them out, I'm going to give each birdie 2 butterflies. Yeah, for the birds of hope. I think that's what Janet is calling them. Janet Nash is the inspiration for these birdies. They each get 2, and I'll probably put these on a paper or something just to keep them separate. I'm just kind of showing you. They each get 2. And I painted the envelopes, so they'll get this art. I've got 1 envelope left over there. I'll have to get it out. That we've got envelopes that go with them. And I'm working on owl envelopes. All these birdies. I'm working on owl envelopes. That's what I'm going to do today. I even sharpened my pencils. And got out the other watercolors. It's got a prettier green. I've got watercolors here. I've got some Kirtaki, however you pronounce that beautiful word. So, welcome to my desk. Let me get adjusted here so that I'm comfortable. Let me get out to my YouTube channel so that I can welcome folks in. This one is going to go to Janet Burgess, and I'm working on the others. I had a giveaway, and I want one to go to Christy, and one to go to Mina, and one to go to Karen Kay's mother, and then I had five that I had for the giveaway up around in here. And I might have an extra one. I'm going to draw 1 more this morning. That's what I'm going to start out with. And then we're going to watercolor these. And I'm going to get my mail to send, ready to send. I'm going to paint on my ochres and get caught up on some of these projects. All right, let me refresh my chat here so that I can say good morning to folks coming in. Hi, Arlene. And let me skip the ads. All right, here we are. Mina says, hi, Meri. Arlene says, hi, y'all. Christy MV. Good morning, Christy MV. Aunt Becky. Good morning, Kimberly. There's Kimberly. Good morning, Kimberly. Oh, and I had a little buffer there. I don't know about you guys, but I had a little buffer. And let's see, Arlene's saying good morning to everybody. They're saying good morning back to her. There's a lot of good mornings out here. Becky's busy ironing fabric. She's only going to be in watch-only mode. That's okay, Becky. You're getting things done. All righty. Well, welcome to everybody, and welcome to everybody that's in the balcony or on the replay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see. It's hard for me to adjust this camera because it looks different in my tablet than it does. And let me set the quality over here on my tablet from 180 to 1080. There there we go. So, let me get my bird picture out here. And go to my gallery. This is the owl that I'm doing here. And now I don't know if this core sits. I took a class at a shop. It was really a needlework shop, but they do watercolor. I don't think they have a green. They have they have the, that green. I want to say ultramarine green in here. That's raw umber, indigo, yellow. I think I mixed my green. So I need to use these. These are at least 7 years old because I got them up in Madison. So they need to be used. But here they are. And I don't think I'll use these this morning. Let me put that down behind me. Oh, we got a Jimmy John's tissue there that I can use for scratchy paper. My Kirtaki should have a nice green in them. And these are more expensive than I remember. And I keep all my paint on my palette. If I can get this out of here. A little plastic. I keep all of this because I'll reuse it. I'll reuse it. And see, this has a prettier green. In fact, several greens here. My other sets of watercolor do not have green. My smaller sets, they're more. And see, this has a nice green in here too. This set is from AUWEN, so I got it off of Amazon, but I like using it. And look, there's a lot of watercolor in here yet. I was watching a watercolor artist, a professional, saying, you should use artist grade. Oh, all my little watercolors are popping out of the pans on this. Several of them are out here. I'll tell you, I might have to pop that out altogether. My supplies really they get used. They get pretty rough treatment. Where are they all? I think this one goes down here. One in here. One there. Ah, they're all here. Well, there's one missing. Oh, it's down there. Okay. Hold on. Let me pop these back in if I can. That one isn't going all the way in. These are, yeah, they have a nice pigment to them. They're good enough for me, because, well, I'm not a professional. So if you're just learning, these work. All right, and I think I put this piece of wax paper. Now I closed it and put that piece of wax paper there. I'm not ready to watercolor yet. I'll set them up here. I want to draw first. Okie dokie. Let's welcome folks in. I have one last envelope to draw. Becky said she's going to watch only. Let's see. I think I've covered all the chat. Welcomed everybody in. Let's see. Make sure. Christy said it's too soon either way. Kimberly says, okay, gotcha. She's talking to Becky. My sis is an elementary principal. Christy says, I'm setting up this week. School starts after Labor Day. I appreciate schools that start after Labor Day. These schools that start in the middle of August, especially this month, has been, we have one more day today, or was that yesterday? No, one more day today, I think, of the high temperatures. High temperatures, 103, 104 here, and that's pretty high for Central. That's more Arizona weather. What a Mena weather. That's more Mena weather. But we got one more day of it, and then it's going to drop that down into the 80s. This is where it's more comfortable. Let's see. Christy, Kimberly says, Christy, has school started yet? And Christy says, no, I think it's Labor Day. It starts after Labor Day. Kimberly says, okay, gotcha. My sis is an elementary principal. And this year is the first year that they started before Labor Day. She says it's messing all the parents up with the change. Yeah. I don't know. If I was a parent, I would maybe be complaining a little too. I'm not a parent and I'm complaining. I think, in a way, I think we're asking our kids to grow up too soon. And they need their summer. They need a summer just to be a kid. We get them involved in all these activities, which is okay during the school year, but then, coming to summer, they need a vacation. And their school doesn't let out till mid-June, and then it starts again mid-August. That's only, I don't know. All right, Mary, get off your soapbox. Oh, Becky said her sister's school started at August the 1st. I don't know. I don't know about that. She teaches elementary art. Arlene says, our schools always start the beginning of August. I think the week after Labor Day is just fine. Especially, August has been so hot this year, all over the world. Becky said, my other sister starts back today at UFC. I think that's University of South Carolina. The schools are trying to go year-round. Well, now, if they rotate the kids, I might not have such a problem with it. But if they ask the kid to go to school year-round, I don't know about that. But, say one set of kids goes August to whenever, and the other set of kids goes September to whatever, and if they kind of rotate those, I think I could live with it. But to ask all those kids to start, all right, Mary, get off your soapbox. You don't have any kids, so it is what it is. Christy says, I teach elementary art too, and I'm the librarian. Oh, that's cool. I apologize for my lighting. I'm looking at a light that I can clip up above that will shine directly down, but I'll still get a shadow from my hand. So I need a light kind of over, no matter what way you come, you're going to get a little bit of a shadow. But my lighting is not the best. I have over this way, I have an aunt light. I don't have any light up above. And then over this other way, I have a lamp that has 2 bulbs on each side. And I don't turn on the ceiling light because it's behind me and it doesn't provide much. My brother uses those LED whatevers, and well, I guess I do too in my lamp, but it's a little bit different bulb. I don't care for it. To me, it doesn't give out much light. But I'm going to get a shadow here. All right. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome to those of you that are teaching or having family that teaches, and those of you that are still on vacation, those of you that are like me and retired, you know, I just kind of, I'm loving my retirement. It takes me about, to do one of these butterflies, it was taking me about an hour. But if I really concentrate and just work on it with no interruptions, I can do one of these in 45 minutes. Well, I've done 8+ of them, but let's just take the 8 that I'm going to send with the birdies. And at 45 minutes, that's between 6 and 8 hours to do these. Between, 6, 7, and 8 hours. And that's counting any eruptions. I don't sit there and work at it constantly. But I timed myself, and it takes me about 45 minutes approximately now. And that's if I just do nothing but tat. Sometimes I set it down and, the phone will ring, or my brother will want something, or I'll have to get up and go to the bathroom, stuff like that. So you think I've done 8 of these. That's 6 to 8 hours of work. And I also did a blue, just 3 blue tats here that I'm going to put on Karen K's bird. I wanted some tatting on that, the bird, the breast of the bird. So I'm still working kind of on Karen K's. So my retirement, I'm having fun in my old age. I'm doing things that I really didn't have time to do when I worked. Kimberly says, when I was in the 3rd grade in Virginia Beach, they tried a program 35/15. They went 35 days, 15 off. We only did it for a year. It was weird in the summer. Yeah. So it's a month on and a half month off. Yeah. I don't know. I just think our parents had the, the 40s and, well, I don't know about the 40s, but the 50s, they went from September to May. And of course there were snow days to make up, usually the end of May. We usually had our school. Now, I went to a small school when in elementary school. It was a small school, small town school. And, but it was usually toward the end of May that we got out, and we'd have a big school picnic, between the 25th and the 30th, up in there, depending on how many snow days we had. Becky says, hopefully Rhonda doesn't scare the late teens, early 20s. She's teaching today with her black eyes from her fallen broken nose. Thankfully, she got her chipped teeth fixed already. Yeah, you said that they were in Tennessee and they had to drive home so that she could get to her doctor. That had to be painful. And she's going to teach anyway. Well, she could teach them what it's like if they're not careful. This is what could happen to you. Oh, happy birthday, Greg. Happy birthday to Greg. Happy birthday to Greg. Happy birthday, Mr. Greg. Happy birthday to you. Is he doing anything special, Becky? We send him our happy birthday wishes for many more good years to follow. Arlene says, a few years ago, our country schools tried reduced day length, but super short summer and 3-day weekends. It worked great, but the federal government wouldn't fund it. That old federal government gets in the way of people, doesn't it? Teresa says, good morning, Mary and friends. Good morning, Teresa. We're off to a good week. Mina says, happy birthday, Greg. Leos unite, Leah says. We should do a banner that says, Leos unite. And then the Capricorns would come in and say, Capricorns unite. And the Cancer, is there Cancer? Whatever, Scorpio or Scorpion, whatever other zodiacs they are. I don't pay much attention to the zodiac. I know I'm a Leo. Um, I don't take it personally. But I know there are a lot of August birthdays in our group. Teresa says, happy birthday, Greg. Becky said, not that he said, so Becky doesn't know. Becky said Greg hasn't mentioned doing anything special. You're going to have cake and ice cream for him? You're going to bake him a birthday cake? The kids like the shorter days and the short summers. They turned in more homework and the parents loved it too. Really? Short days and short summers. You mean short school summers or short at home summers? I don't know. I think kids should get at least a 3-month vacation. I think that's about what we had. June, July, and August were our days. In our small town, we had school, and it was usually over with by the end of May, and then they'd have Bible school in June. We had a Lutheran church and a Methodist church in our small town, and both of those churches would have their Bible schools in June, and that kind of, But you know what? Things change, times change. Just because we did doesn't mean everybody has to, but it seemed to work for us. Beg said he quit his job on Monday and he starts a new job on the 9th. So he's probably resting up before the new job. Good for Greg. Teresa says, yes, just was a Capricorn. Oops, Jesus was a Capricorn? Jesus was a Capricorn? Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Arlene says the shorter summer break made going back easier. That's interesting. I don't think it, well, you know what? I'm in my 70s. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Greg is actually a Virgo. August 23rd to September 21st. Yeah, my brother is a Virgo then because his birthday is on August 30th. And my parents' anniversary, that year that he was born on my parents' anniversary, August the 30th. They got a baby for an anniversary present. Hi, Stephanie G. Good morning, Stephanie. It's good to see you. Kids lose so much during a long summer. Yeah, I guess. I still think kids need that time off, though. All the vacation stuff. I think they need to be a kid. I don't know, it's just my opinion. We all have our thoughts, so we all are right. In here, everybody's right. Okay, I think I've caught up with chat. We're talking about the zodiac and the short school years, summer breaks. All right. So this is about 1/4 of the way of the envelope. Half is about here, 1/4 is about there. And I've always said when I was doing this that this little bird takes up about 1/4 of the picture and his wing comes about halfway through. This picture is not centered there because he's got to get his tail. That's about 1/4 of the picture, and that big bird takes up about 3/4 of the area. This little bird's wing comes about halfway. If you're looking at it horizontally, it comes about halfway. So that's what, on all these sketches, that's how I've been. And I've just put in pencil sketches, and I'm going to go in and watercolor them. Now, my goal is to get mail out. I was hoping this week, but it's going to take me a couple days to get it all together. I want to attach these onto maybe some well, I don't know. I think I'll just attach them onto a piece of paper, you know, like this. And they'll go with the. Get a birdie out here. They'll go with the birdies, and then this will go in that envelope that I painted, and I'll probably surround it with a piece of paper just to help, because see, and the envelopes are bubble envelopes. They've got the bubble. They're the bubble mailers, so the beads should ride okay. This one will go to Chaz. So it's going to take me. You know, I'm slow, but I'm getting there. I'm a slow bee. All right. Stephanie says hi to everyone. They're saying hello back. Hellos. Blanket hellos. Mina says, summertime was when my family had vacations. I read books I wanted to read and diddle on projects I wanted to work on. I wouldn't trade those summers for anything. I wouldn't either. My summers, talking about what we did as kids in the summertime, we lived about 3 miles out of town. My parents rented this country house. It was livable, though. And we'd ride bicycles. Well, ride those bicycles and play in the barns, old barns. It was a farm that nobody was living in. My dad did not farm. But climb on, I can remember climbing on the windmills, riding bicycles, just playing outdoors, climbing trees. We'd plant a garden and just also, we had what we called a stamp club, you know, kids' imaginations. In that club were me and my brother and my older sister before she left home. And my other brother, my oldest brother, didn't do that so much. He'd go fishing with his friends. They liked to go fishing a lot, go down to the river and camp out overnight. So I think kids need that time to be a kid. And sometimes just times to do nothing. Times to do nothing. Those times when we go up and say, what do I do? I'm bored. And that's when my mom got out the pencil and paper and took me out to the old windmill, and she sat there and sketched the barn with the cows around it. And then she handed the paper and pencil to me and said, now you do it. And that was really my first experience of outdoor sketching. I say urban sketching, but it really wasn't urban. It was outdoor, plein air sketching. And then she went in the house. I said, aren't you going to stay here with me? No, I got work to do. Those were memories. Those were memories. I wouldn't trade them for anything, what Amina says. Let's see. Becky says, it's been weird since we moved back down here from the cottage. As while we were away, they built a huge new elementary school and closed all the neighborhood elementary schools. That's interesting. Where our school was, it's now a green space. Did they tear down the school and make it like a park? Hi, Roy. Good morning, Mr. Roy. He says, good morning, Meri, and happy waffle day to all you luscious. Aren't we luscious? Roy is calling us lushy atelierettes. Group hello and hugs. Good morning, Roy. And they're saying good morning to Roy. Roy's waving to everybody. Arlene says, times have changed, though, and many children are stuck in daycare or a babysitter's house that couldn't care less because both parents work, and so summer means indoors without the school friends. That's a good point. That's a good point. Times do change. Parents are, you know, it isn't so much now the dad goes to work and the mom stays at home, the kids build lemonade stands. Those were the good old days in our culture. And, you know, kids now, and there's all the electronic age going on. Arlene makes a good point. Nina says, Becky, was that Greg's old elementary? Yeah, they consolidated. I had my freshman year of high school in the little town where we grew up. But then the state I say they poked their nose into it. They did. They consolidated the smaller schools here. And, you know, I understand, because I do think a little bit larger school has more opportunity for the kids. I get that. But on the other hand, it really destroyed the small town culture. I mean, these small towns would get together on Tuesday and Thursday and Friday nights and have basketball games and all that. They still had basketball games, but it wasn't the community based, like it was before. And I think when the state education stuck their nose into and said, we know better than you about how you should grow up and live, you know, and I do say that with a little bit of criticism, because I think they destroyed the culture of these small towns. A lot of the small towns, if you drive around here now, you'll see schools that are all bricked up and closed, and you know, you drive down Main Street and all the little shops have closed because people have congregated in larger areas. And I kind of blame our state government for that. But on the other hand, I do understand. I do understand a little bit larger school has more opportunities for the kids, and it's really not horrible around here. I tend to criticize it maybe a little bit more than I should. But if I were running things, if I were running the world, I'd let rather than come in and tell the parents and the school districts what they should be, I'd let the parents decide that. I don't know. And I look at Nebraska is pretty conservative, so they still have pretty good schools around here, public schools. But I tend more toward, I've seen too much, you guys. I've seen too much. I tend more toward homeschooling if you can. Now, I take that with a grain of salt, because I know, like what Arlene says, both parents have to work in order to pay the bills. So not every family, even if they'd like to homeschool, can homeschool just for economic reasons and other reasons too. But I think if it's, this is just my opinion, you know, this is me up on my soapbox. I think that kids have the opportunity for homeschooling done properly, have a much better education. They, you know, and you know, I went through this whole thing when I was in teachers college, because that's when it all started. And here in Nebraska was in the mid 70s. Homeschooling was a big controversy. No. If you homeschool your kids, they're going to turn out to be social introverts, and, you know, they're not going to get exposure to like what kids get in public schools and blah, 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 blah. Well, nowadays, maybe not so much in Nebraska, but I think it does exist. Schools can be dangerous, you know. They're likely to get shot. And I shouldn't laugh about that, because it is a serious thing. It's a serious thing. And I favor homeschooling if at all possible, if it's feasible. And in a lot of instances, it is. At least through the elementary years, when the kids need their parents' guidance. But times have changed. And here again, I'm up on my soapbox. I don't have kids. So, you know, but I have an opinion. And my opinion did not go over very good in the 70s, because even now, public schools are are, you know, pretty well supported around here. The private schools are either Lutheran or Catholic, and we have a good Catholic school system up in that town where we go shopping. My nephew's wife went to school there. They're well known. We've got a really well known university in Omaha that's Catholic. So the parochial schools, I think, are good too. And there is homeschooling going on here. I don't know. I just favor it if it's at all possible. Stephanie said, we rode bikes and roller skated up and down the block or played with the neighborhood kids. We did miles on the block we lived on. Yeah, riding those bikes. I think I lived on my bicycle, even in college, because I did not have a car until maybe my junior year. And not even my junior year, I was out of school before I even had a college, before I even had a car up in Lincoln. My parents didn't want me to, because all I could afford were those old school cars. You know, $75 for a school car. Car's already 20 years old, and you know, they just didn't want me up in all that big city traffic in Lincoln. And I can understand that. So I rode bicycles a lot and walked and rode the bus, the city buses. I can remember I worked at a nursing home there in Lincoln while I was going to business college, and I can remember early in the morning being downtown Lincoln on O Street waiting for the bus to take me out to 56th and O to the nursing home. I had to be there by 6:45 in the morning. You know, getting there, and it was dark, and you'd stand there at the bus stop, Miller and Payne, you know, the store windows, and then the bus would drive up, and we'd all get in, whoever was riding the bus. This is just memories of mine. Rode the bicycle. Greg let's see what Becky said here. Becky says, I rarely see children outside here. Yeah, times have changed there too. I mean, kids can be playing out in their yard and be in danger. You know, weird. It's more in the bigger cities, but it does happen around here too. Roy says, my mom didn't see us from breakfast to lunch, then from lunch to nap time. It was an innocent time back then. Yeah, it was an innocent time. Roy says it perfectly. Greg went there 1 year. She's talking about the elementary school that is green space now. She said, Becky says, Greg went there 1 year and then we homeschooled. Yeah, I could see Becky and Scott doing a good job of homeschooling. They're smart. Stephanie said, we rode bikes and skated up and down the block. Arlene said, Bootsy, it was an innocent time. Mom pushed us out on a nice days and we stayed out until supper time. We even had lunch outside. Good days. Arlene says, Stephanie, we rode bikes and horses and chased the cows and the forts in the barn and built forts in the barn. Those are good memories, aren't they? And I think kids, you know, a kid is going to be a kid. Their memories are going to be different than ours, but they're still going to have, when they get our age, they'll say, do you remember, you know, do you remember so-and-so? And we'd play all those video games or whatever kids do now. I don't mean to come down too harsh on how kids are raised during the summertime. Do you remember going how hot it was in August when we had to go to school? Kids are going to have good memories, whatever. You know, I don't know. They'll survive, I guess. We just had it different. I think Roy said it perfectly. Those were innocent times then. And Arlene said it good too. Times have changed. And sometimes I look back and I want, uh, I want kids to have good memories of their growing up years. And their memories going to be different than mine. Roy says, and being born in 1947, most of the homes had new boomer babies. And there were lots of kids in the neighborhood. You're just a few years older than me, Mr. Roy. I was born in 51. So you're about 4 years older. You're about my brother's age, Roy. My brother's 4 years older than me. He was born in 47. Arlene says, I homeschooled my children, but we planned a strict budget and stuck to it so I could stay home with them. Yeah. Homeschooling is not easy, but I think if it's at all possible, at least through the elementary years, you're giving your child the roots that they need to grow in. And, maybe when they get to be junior high or high school, you can start exposing them to larger school system. But I just think the kids need when you stop and think about it, well, I shouldn't say before I study it more, but the very beginning of school days, it was all local. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have they probably had some private schools, but big, huge public school systems that we had today. They hardly had a town. And I'm talking about the colonial times. Of course, you have to hand it again too, because I don't mean to criticize educational departments too much, because the education for the female side of things have much improved. Girls don't have to stay home and learn their spelling by stitching samplers, so they have a lot more opportunity, I think. I think I had a lot more opportunity than my older sister did. I think if my older sister would have had the same opportunity to go to college that I did, she probably would have made a lot more out of herself than I did. She was really smart. My older sister was a smart lady, but she didn't have we were not rich, and she didn't have the opportunity to go on to college that I had. And I just, I can see a change even there. Teresa said, I helped to homeschool my grandchildren. We had lots of fun. Yeah. Both parents have to work to be able to support the family. Yeah, that's a point too. And with the inflation, it's not getting any better, is it? The economy really plays a role. So there are lots to consider before you get too critical of it, Meri. There's a lot of reasons why. But I still think if it's at all possible, keeping your kid and schooling him, and I'm talking about not just letting him play all day, giving him a homeschooling helps grow his roots. And then when he's, and you can still expose him to activities, to community activities, have play dates with the other kids. And homeschooling has changed a lot since I was first exposed to it. They developed a lot of homeschool material and homeschool opportunities. All right, I'm going to draw my owls here. I get off my soapbox, and I just have one set of owls to do, and then I'm going to watercolor. But it is an interesting topic. Let's see. I'm up in here. Like I said, I'm all out of the education system now. So but now kids are exposed to so much. There's a lot more, I'm going to say, controversial, serious issues as these kids have to deal with that we didn't. That beak is entirely too big. And the eye in here. And I still think here in Nebraska, I can't speak for the other states because I don't experience it, but my grandniece goes to a public school and she's getting a good education, I think. She thinks she's way too cool, though. Yeah, I suppose that comes with being a teenager. Can't criticize her too much. I think her parents keep an eye on that stuff. I hope. She likes to draw. She does a pretty good job of it. Her mother said she must get it from Aunt Meri. And I'm sitting there going, well, if she does, it must be by osmosis, because I've never really sat down and even sketched with her. So I think she probably gets a pretty good training in school. In school. She does a pretty good job of it, though. Let's see. My birdie's head is coming way up in here. I might have to... This one's up a little bit higher. Well, we're going to leave it up higher. When I first came back down here, that was 7 years ago, and they were living in a different house then, and I sat out in my car and sketched the house that they were living in there now, and it went up on the walls in my grandniece's room. And I don't know if she sketched it or not. She does pretty good. I'll bring that tail down, just kind of getting the placement here. And the eye of this birdie kind of comes here, and he's got that eyelid. And I think this has more of an arch back than what I have. And, you know, like I said the other morning, when I sketch with a pencil that has an eraser on it, I have permission to change things. I'm making this bird's head a little smaller. And it'll change too as I watercolor. And it kind of comes down like that. Maybe up in there. And then it has that fur in there. Let's get rid of some of those marks. I have permission to change things when I have an eraser. If I were drawn in ink, I would probably still change things, but I don't feel like I have the same permission. I don't feel like I have the same permission to... It's like, you put it there, that's where it's going. That's a little better, and then his beak comes down in here. There. Okay, and then his wing kind of comes out this way, He's got a little bit of a foot in here and a little bit of a tail, I think, down here. And then this birdie has his foot coming out here, coming down this way. And we saw the claw on this. And Becky helped me. I didn't see it until Becky pointed it out, this claw there. And it's got a little dark claw in there. A little claw going on here. And one coming out in there, sort of. And then this is all tree trunk. We're going to have it a little bit higher up here. Now, I'm going to start watercoloring on these. And the reason I got these watercolors out here was because it has, this has got a greenish background. And I didn't have that pretty green. Given the colors I had, I wasn't very good at as I look at these, I'm already wanting to change things. I'm wanting to smooth out this head a little. No, that's too much. More like that. And then he's got more of a hump back. The way his neck is, it doesn't go in, it kind of curves out here, like that. And I touch that. Phone is weird. All right, we're going to work on this one. And what I think I'm going to do is do all the backgrounds on these first. And of course, I am ordering me a cart, a slender cart off of Amazon. Let me measure this area between my desk and the, let me turn this over. Between the desk and the bookcase is approximately 7.5 inches. So I'm going to leave that 1/2 inch. Let's put it at 7 because it'll have to fit in there. I think you can get them all the way from 5.5 to 8. I think I'm going to have to go with the 5.5. This piece here, see, if I go with 5.5, I could, on the shelves, this would fit in very nice. And you can get them all the way from $20 to $50 up around there. And, you know, it's just a slender cart. And that way, I can take all this stuff that I have up at the top of my desk and put it in that little cart and fit it right in between my desk and the bookshelf. And if it doesn't fit this way, I can do it this way. And it's on wheels, so I can move it. So I'm ordering that. I gotta get this. I don't have room on my desk when I have all of this on it. I'll, you know, and I'll put things like this in there, and then I'll have more room to work. I washed out all my brushes yesterday, got clean water, and so I think I'm going to go with the 5.5. Let's get my water out here. I think I'm going to go with the 5.5 width size. And I think it has about 4 shelves. All right, what do I want to use? I want a soft brush. Maybe this one for the background. That'll work. And I just need water. And then I got it right down here at my foot. today. I'm a little bit more prepared this morning. Look, I got these embossing powders for, I think I paid $1, either $1 or $1.25 or something. I got them on sale at Ranger. I like to watch Ranger.com, their sale area. I get things like this. This is embossing powder. I got 4 of them. I have them out here. I was going to play with them. I haven't done that yet. I've been busy with other things. We'll put some water in here. And we're going to spritz my watercolors here. We're going to use this Japanese or Chinese set here, Oriental set, this morning. It really has a wider range of colors, and I'm going to spritz my watercolors. I didn't spritz them the other day. All right, while that's kind of soaking in, let's see what's going on in chat. Let me refresh my chat. I want to welcome you all in. Thanks for joining me on a Thursday morning. I think I got my Tuesday and Thursday mornings mixed up. Time goes fast. Roy said, "Oi, the geese are on the move. I hope that's not a prediction of what's to come." It might be, Roy. It might be when you start seeing the birds moving. They know something's up. Arlene said, "Roy, you better get the lead out." Roy says, "We have a hobby fair at church the weekend before Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to make things for the fair. I have to get my rearing gear. The calendar is advancing quickly." Yeah, I was thinking about that zine. I want to do Dee Dee and Janet Young's zine. I have it all planned out, but I've been busy doing all of this. After I get all of this mailed out, it's going to go out. I'm going to work on those zines pretty constant because my goal was to get them done by September 1st. I don't think I'll get them done, but I'll have a good start on them. Arlene says, "Mina, the same thing with storage space." What did Mina say? "Hi, Crafty Visage. The time has been flying," she says. Let's see. What did Mina said? "Here's something I learned. I will never have enough room on my desk." It must be a law of physics that my projects and art supplies will expand to the available space. Well, I want to get these scissors and all of these things. I use them, so I need them quite at hand. But I also need table space because I want to do some dirty dozens, and I want to do them on by 18 by 24. But that takes up the large area of my desk here. And then I've been dealing with this pile over here by taking stuff off. Now, these are birdies, and these are things I'm going to mail out over here now. But I tend to throw all my little bits and bops over on this side. And I've been taking them and putting them in boxes and cigar boxes. And Lord knows what. I never did find my pencil sharpener. Next time I go to town, I'm going to buy, because they're not expensive. You buy those cheapy ones but my brother has an electric pencil sharpener out in the back porch, and I sharpened my pencils this morning. I sharpened my pencils. I've already dulled this one. All right. So the other thing I need is a towel. I got a towel out here. We'll use this one. This one is just what I carried my paintbrushes into the room on. And we're going to start with maybe kind of a yellowish green. Let's see. That's the darker green. I don't know if you guys can see. No, you can't. But that's okay. I have the towel over here. And I was watching that watercolor artist. And he was talking about his supplies. And he had a little rag there. And he said it's good for, like when you dip your brush in the water, you really load that brush with water. And if you do a technique where you need a lot of water, that's fine. But I like a damp brush, but I don't like it loaded with water. Let's try this green here. Yeah, I think that's more what I want to start out with. And, well, that's a blue. That's not green. See, I get a surprise. Well, blue is good too. And see, that's really more water than what I want. So, kind of, I like a damp brush. My lighting is not good, especially in the morning. And there, that's a green. And we're just going to kind of fill the background in on this, and this will give me the opportunity to let these air dry while I'm working on the others. And we're just going to kind of fill in this space, and that's really more wet than I want. And again, these are student grade, so they're not going to be loaded with pigments, but I tend to do layers in here, and that makes it a little darker. And let's see, all this area in here. And it usually turns out in the end a little bit more water in here. And we're just going to kind of just swish it on there. But I do like some, you know, I don't like it to be just a flat color. I like some texture in there. And I think I'll set that aside and let it dry. And we'll come back, we'll do another one. And I was thinking, well, now see that bird's too fat in there. I'm gonna change this. He's awful, well, that bird's kind of fat too, but is this the one I changed already this morning? He's too fat in here now. He needs to be a little, he needs that hump, but he needs to be a little more slender. There. Get rid of that mark up there. Yeah, and that one's okay. And with doing the backgrounds like this, there's really not much thought to it. You can kind of play with this. Don't, you know, don't be so paranoid over it, Meri. Just kind of just getting some color, and, you know, then I'll come back and put in the detail and that thing, and then they turn out all right. I don't have a wax paper on under this. I just have my glass top, so, and there's a background in here. Alrighty, I think that's good. Let's put a little bit more. And you know, I could mix a little blue in there, but this is pretty much a green background. It's a little bit darker down on this picture. It's a little bit darker down at the bottom. A little bit darker down this way. And then here. Let's do that on the other one. I was thinking about these, mass producing them, and I thought, well, you know, it's almost like twins. You could call twins, and this is what? These would be septuplets with octuplets with 8. And even though they look alike, each one has their own uniqueness to it. Because I drew them separately, I didn't make one and then copy it. And I'm painting them separate, so you're still going to get original art. You're still going to get original art. They're just twins, or octuplet, well, you know, septuplet, you know. They were all born at one time on my desk. It isn't like I'm making photocopies, that's my point. Yeah. Get that loaded off of my brush. I tend to load my brush with water to re-wet the, where I should, yeah, where I should maybe spritz it. I need to get my little water spritzers out. This water spritzer I have spritzes it, but it comes out in a more of a stream than a spray. And let's see. I want this darker in here. And we'll be playing with that again. I'll be playing with it. Now I'll set it aside. Now let me. Just getting some color in the background. I've got several of them here to do. Got another green over here. Let's try that one and see if it's any different. This is more of a yellow green, I think. It looks about the same. It looks about the same. Got two greens in here. This one is a little bit more blue, I think. Has a little bit more blue in it. Let's get that off my brush. And I'm just kind of just popping in the background, and then I'll go in and detail the birds and everything. So this will be changing as I work on it. And I'm not trying to do fancy dancy stuff. Like, you know, watercolor techniques. I sketch more with my watercolor than actually watercolor paint. It's more sketchy sketch for me. More illustrative. Let's see. Let me get some darker greens in here. Ooh, that's way dark, isn't it? Well, that's okay, though. Let's bring it up a little. And I'll be putting a black border on this stuff anyway. Okay, put that one there. That's 4 of them. Look, I don't have a paper down here, so I got paint on here as I work. I'll have to clean my desk off when I'm done. But luckily it's glass, so it'll clean. Might get some green on the back, but that's okay. That's all right. And we do wax these. I waxed that one that I'm sending to Janet and with the daddy bands, and it really turned out nice. And the wax doesn't move the watercolor. And I think the wax helps bring out the color. I'm just kind of putting in a background here, just kind of with my brush, not trying to do anything fancy. This is more of an ultramarine green, phthalo green. A little bit darker green down in there. Let's put some up in here. And I'll come in and detail this a little bit more. All right. Let's get some of that darker in there. Alrighty. Put this one aside. I'm running out of space. Aside space. That's 5. Oops. How many more do I have to go? 4 more. So I've done 10 of these total, I think. Because I got 1 done. I have 4 here and 5 over there. So I've done 10 of these. Or I'm doing 10. I'm just kind of working that color around. I'm not trying to be super detailed with it. I'm just getting in a background. Getting that pigment off of my brush here. And it's okay if some of that green falls into the bird because it will just blend. It will blend in when I start doing the color on the bird. Actually, one of the painting techniques that I learned in art college was to sometimes take your colors, and if you have a color down here, kind of mix it up in there, blend it in, and you'd be surprised, even though you wouldn't think that color belonged up there, in the end it really does. It kind of pulls the whole thing together. Who taught you that, Meri? Which one of those instructors taught you that? We might have a conversation with them. Somebody who doesn't agree. Go away, leave me alone. Let me play. Yeah. That's good. Just getting in a background. Move my paint rag here. Oh, see, I'll get color on the back. Oopsie doodle. Oopsie doodle. That'll happen. That's because I got it all over here. Especially that green. Janet's is blue. That's how I'll know what Janet's is. Janet's is a blue. These are green backgrounds. And I'm using my greens over here. Let's mix it. This is a little bit lighter green over here. Well, I got the dark on there first. I'm just not paint. I'm just putting in a background. I'm not trying to be super detailed about it. I didn't get all that bird's feather in there when I sketched him in. I really want that darker down in here. All right. I don't know where to put this towel. Up above, I guess. 2 more. Yeah, I lost it. Ooh, that's pretty dark. Let's come down here. That's more of a phthalo green. What time is it? 7:20. My brother's having to get a new water heater. We're without hot water for this week until Friday. We finally called them yesterday. They're supposed to bring it Monday. I told my brother, I said, well, wait until, that was Wednesday, was yesterday. I said, if they don't come by the end of Wednesday, give them a call. Well, he called them anyway in the afternoon, and he said, you're supposed to bring that water heater on Monday. We haven't seen hide nor hair of you. And we don't answer the phone because we get so many telemarketing calls and stuff like that. And he's told them several times. I've listened to him, and because I'm sitting there listening to his call, and she said, well, I called you on Monday. And he said, well, you need to leave a message. Well, I thought I did. You didn't leave a message. You're just trying to. She couldn't find the ticket. She couldn't find the ticket, so she had to hang up and call back. I was not too impressed. But she said they'd be out Friday. And when I got up this morning, I was thinking today was the day they were going to come. They're not coming until tomorrow. And I've been nagging my brother to have them check the plumbing underneath of the kitchen sink. I think it needs cleaning out or replaced or whatever they do, because it needs to run down better. It runs down, but it's slow, real slow. And I didn't think he was him and Haas when I tell him that, and I didn't think he was going to tell him, and she read it off as one of the things that they were going to do. So I'm going, yay! It's hard to do dishes when the water doesn't go down the drain good. And we have a dishwasher, but he hooks that dishwasher up to the sink. It's one that hooks up to the sink. And it has, when it drains, it has a big old flow, so I think that's even, I don't know, I've never really watched it, but I would think that that would even be slow, so I'm going, yay. But I was thinking this morning when I got up that this was the day that they were coming. They're not coming until tomorrow. And we got to pull everything out from underneath the sink, and I'm going, oh no, we don't have that done yet. But we'll get it done for tomorrow. I'll put some more of this color up in here. And he's thinking they're going to have to replace the entire sewer line. He said it's decaying and getting old, and he said we'll get it done and we'll have to do it for the rest of our life. And he's paying for it all, so he makes the decisions because he's paying for it. He knows more about it. I couldn't take care of all that stuff myself. I couldn't afford that. It's going to cost him a pretty penny to have that done. It's costing him a pretty penny just to have the new hot water heater put in. All right, I'm going to clean this green off here. Alrighty. Feels better even. Yeah, hot water heaters, you know, you're paying for all that labor cost. All right, and so we're going to go back in. And grab that bird again in my gallery. And I'm going to put in some light grays. And I think I'm going to do, I'll come back in with a white. I'm not going to be concerned with the white because my white, I'm not going to try to let the paper be the white. I'm going to come in with either my fine line applicator or one of those paint pens with the white. So I'm going to make most of the bird gray. I won't put, I'll leave the eyes. And a little bit of yellow in here. The eyes are yellow. This is the one that I've done. See, it's there's going to be one blue one. All right, so that's what I'm going to do next is grays. And so I'll need a white. I'll need my whites up in here. And see, this is again where I need desk space. All right, so let me spritz. And I'll come out and look at chat while this is. And I don't know which one is my black. I think it's over here. There might be an ultramarine gray. What do they call that? Can't remember all my names online here. Oh, it's not ultramarine black. What is it called? Can't remember. Let me refresh chat. Oh, phone's ringing. Let me go on mute for a minute. We're getting these prank calls where this lady will call. It's either a lady or a young girl. And it'll ring, and then they say, leave a message. And she goes, hello. And that's all she says, and then she hangs up. And I'm trying to trap the number, but it doesn't come. It comes across, she's as different small towns across here. I think I'm going to call the captioning and tell them that, you know, because it'll play and they'll caption it. But I was looking at the menu to see how I could report those as spam, and I haven't quite figured out. I think I'm going to call the caption people and say, can you please put that number when she calls on the spam, block that call? Because I think it's probably the same lady. And that's what that call was. So we don't even answer the phone anymore because of all the crap that comes down the line. You know, people are weird. People are weird. go away. Leave us alone. We're just, don't give a darn. All right, I was going to come out and chat. I had to turn it on mute. Am I off? Can you guys hear me? I'm off mute, aren't I? Yeah. All right. Hi, Chaz. Hold the phone. I wonder if we can report it somewhere. I think our captioning people can block those calls for us. I know that, you know, like on our mobile phones, you know, and every now and then, even on this captioning, my brother has a landline, and because he's hard of hearing, he has a caption phone. And every now and then we'll see a number come across because we don't answer it, and it will report it as a spam call. But I think I'm going to call them and say, we're getting this lady who's calling us, and just tell them what I told her, and tell her I don't know how to capture that number because it doesn't come across as a numerical number. It comes across as a city, small city, you know, like Harvard or one of the small towns across there, a little town in Nebraska. Sometimes there's it came across as Rock, R-O-C-K, and we don't even know where Rock, Nebraska is, or where Rock is. I don't know how they do that crap, but this one is really annoying me enough that I'm ready to see if I can't report it somehow. Thank you, Chaz. She says, Meri, we can hear you. Weird is everywhere. It really is. What's happening to our society? I think that people, you know, and I kind of, I want to lend, I don't want to say blame, it's not the right word. Social media, you know, and I'm guilty of it too. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody, you know, but still, you have your rights, but you don't have your right to stomp on somebody else. And you have your, you know, that old phrase, your freedom ends where my nose begins. And even though you have a right, you don't have a right to call people and harass them like that. Even though you have a right to, hello. You can say that all you want, as long as you don't say it in my ear. Could be a little old lady misdials because of shaky hands. Well, it could be that. It could be. But we need a way to trap that number without answering it. It could be a little old lady. See, we don't know what that is, but I still think it's meanness. I think it's meanness. It's a possibility. We don't know who it is. That's the problem. But I should have the ability to block that number from my phone, you know. And I don't even see a number. I see the name of a town. And if it is a little lady, blocking her number, you know, that isn't going to hurt her any. It's just that we're not going to be harassed with it anymore. What did Roy say? Hi, Leah. Good morning, Leah. What did Roy say? I missed what Roy said. Do, 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 do. Mine has been doing that too, Chaz. Let's see, what did Chaz say? Loving YouTube not. No alert from Meri's channel. And I opened her channel and it was not showing the live. Annoying. Really? Did you check the notifications? Check and make sure you got all set on. I don't know. Now, I haven't been, it used to be, and, you know, YouTube changed the rules so much that it's hard to keep track of things, but it used to be that you could only announce 3 different things. Like if I went live and did a short and posted, that would be 3 notifications. And, you know, some people would do 20 and it would be spamming, so YouTube put a limit on the number of notifications. But I haven't been doing a lot of notifying. Let's see, I left a post yesterday that I wasn't going live, but that's the only thing that I've done. I haven't put anything to my community tab. I haven't been doing any shorts or podcasts or anything like that. So the notification should be going out. But who knows? I wish I had, you know, if I were set up more as a business, and some people are set up more that way, where you get on an email list, like Pearl. Pearl announces through email when she's going to have a sale. And I go, okay, I know she's coming on tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night or whenever. You know, I mean, I'm not saying she's coming on tomorrow night. I'm just saying that if she would notify us via email. I have it checked. Send notifications to everybody that wants one, but it's all automated and their automation is sleepy. Nina says, I have a dishwasher, me. Teresa says, good morning, Chaz, Kimmy, and Stacy. Did I miss saying hello to Stacy? Catitude. Kimberly says, I thought Beck was having hot dogs for breakfast. What did Becky say? She says, okay, hot dog. The last 2 dresses are cut out. I'm done for the year when these last 4 dresses are sewn together. Becky is doing that Project Dress-A-Girl. Oh my goodness, she's making all these cute dresses, and she's made a whole bunch of them this year. A ton of them. How many? And every one of them are cute. And you know, Becky's a seamstress, so you know she's doing a good job. Let's see, Arlene was asking, Roy, how is your family? Roy says, all is okay here, Arlene. John had his last post-surgery checkup. All looked clear, and he's on a 3-month monitoring schedule. Kids and grandkids are well. I'm learning to live with the back pain. Aw, Roy. I don't envy your back pain. I know I was sitting in my recliner, and my brother was sitting in the other recliner kind of across the room and on the other side of my little magazine rack. And he was sitting by the phone waiting for the plumber to call. And I had fallen asleep, and I must have jerked my arm somehow, my shoulder in my sleep, and oh, ow. And I said that, oh, ow, it woke me up. And I must have jerked it. It's okay. My shoulder's okay as long as I don't jerk at it the wrong way. Like I have pretty good mobility in it. And but it's still kind of healing. And he said, you should go get that x-rayed. Let's see, it happened on April 5th. So that's May, June, July, August, almost 5 months. So sometimes it takes a good 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months for these things to heal. I don't think it's a rotary cuff thing. I think I pulled one of the major muscles in my arm, pulled it really good. And I can feel it getting better. It's not as painful. I have more mobility than I did in April. But it's still, if I jerk it the wrong way, it can be painful. And it woke me up. So I don't envy anybody who has back pain or any kind of pain. Owie. Arlene can identify with that. Mina says, my cat Mikey heard Mary's voice and immediately came tropping over to jump on my lap and listen. I think he's addicted. Hi, Mikey. He's probably eating cat food now. Arlene's dropped links to Lori Pink Girlie's channel and Roy's channel. This is Thursday. I think APG Jamie is coming on today. I think she is, because I think I saw a notification on Facebook. And who else comes on Thursday mornings? Lori Pink Girlie comes on. So those two will be on. And then in the afternoon, I think on Thursdays, Lisa and Tanya come on. Don't ask me the exact time. And don't ask me which channel because I can't keep up with them. And then later tonight at 6 p.m., I keep track of Beth. She's pretty consistent. She comes on at 6 o'clock on Thursday evenings. And I think is that it? Somebody else might come after Lori. I don't know if this is the day Lena and Kathy Arbor come on. I get those two mixed up too. And I continually forgetting Kathy Cowell and Art Junkie and all these ones that are more recent to me. And I just don't have them down in my head. My head is slow these days. So you guys are going to have to fill in the gaps for me. Arlene says, I'll bet if you give a crafter an empty airplane hangar, they would still run out of space. Oh, dear. All right. I think I'm going to go down to the bottom of chat, and then I'm going to get busy. Mary, all alerts are on, Chaz says. I even opened your channel, and it was not showing you were on in live. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why. Huh. I don't know. I have no idea, Chaz. But thanks for popping in. It's good to see you. Becky said 17. She's done 17 dresses so far. I can't imagine. I can't even get the dress done for my little rag doll. Oh, dear. Becky said, torn tendons tend to take forever to heal. Yeah, I think that's what I have. I tore a muscle or something in there. I don't think it's the rotary cuff because I think it would be more painful. And I don't hear any popping. They say if you hear it pop, it's probably your rotary cuff. I just get, if I jerk it the wrong way or jerk it too hard or move it too, give it a pop like that, I can feel it. Or sometimes, like I'll take my arm and I'll massage it like this, and that feels good, but I start feeling the pain. I start feeling where it's painful when I do that. Art Junkie is on 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. Let me write that. I don't think I have that down. Let me write it. Thank you, Becky. So let's see, I have Lena streams on Friday noon, so she's not on today. I think APG Jamie is coming on at 9 and Paint Girly. Chris is on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Chaz is on Saturday. I got 11:50 a.m., and that's probably Eastern time. Kelly comes on Tuesday night. Stacy Catitude comes on at 10 a.m. every day, 10 a.m. Eastern every day. Barb Owen comes on Friday, so let me write. Oh, I got Kathy Arbor on Thursday at 1 p.m. So I don't have Lisa and Tanya down because I forget theirs. They changed. Lisa's changed recently, but they'll announce it if they're on. It's usually Tuesday and Thursdays. Art Junkie, which is Shannon, comes on at, what did she say? 3 p.m. That's 3 p.m. Eastern, I think, on Wednesdays. Fridays for crochet session. Oh, really? I need to catch her. Barb Owen is on Fridays. Mary, I do not stream. Well, how come I have you on? I have you, Chaz, Saturday, 11:50 a.m. Is this not a stream? Is this just video that you schedule? I don't know how come I have you here. Just let me cross it off, because these are streams. Thank you for letting me know. I don't know why I have that down. I got my wires crossed. That happens all the time. Hi, Cheryl. And she, and also on Friday. Hold on, I'm getting this mixed up. On Wednesdays at 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. Friday for crochet, and 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. So 3 p.m. on Wednesdays for Art Junkie Shannon. 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. And 3 p.m. on Fridays for crochet. And I know she does a lot of standalones. Now I don't have Janet Nash and Dee Dee and then because I got and Beth Schuler. I know them. I got them down. I'm waiting for Becky to see what she's going to do in September. We want Becky to. We want to see Becky. She did a little bit of a haul, didn't you? Yeah, you did. You got those colored pencils. Let me go back down to the bottom. Are you all settled in? Becky is asking Cheryl. Cheryl had to do a move. She's living, I think she said, in the same building as her daughter. And Cheryl says, well, for the most part, yeah, it's going to take a while to get settled in. Let's see. 7 dresses are reversible. Of those 17, she made 7 of them reversible dresses. So they're really 2 dresses in one. You can add another 7 to that and make it 24 dresses. Yeah. All right. I keep losing my picture here. Let's do some light grays. I think my water is probably, let's make sure my brush is clean or I'll have green. I'll have a green bird. All right. Let's do some grays. I think I can mix some of this white with this gray here on this palette and get a gray. Oh, get a gray green. Get a blue. Well, that isn't the color I wanted. I want gray. I thought that was black. It's more of a bluish color. So let's go back up here with my whites. And I'm just going to come down and get what there's green on this brush. Get it in here as much as I can. And I have to find the black. I think it's over here. Let's want a little bit of a gray. And that watercolor artist that I was watching yesterday said, mix more paint when you're mixing than you think you'll need. Well, I find that's easier when you're using a tube than when you're using a pan because you have to load your brush. And if you're mixing the color, you have to transfer it over to the pan that you're mixing in. And I find it's harder to, I got a little blue on that brush. It's hard to mix, in my opinion, a lot of color. You try to get a lot, but watercolor too, you don't need. Now, I'm going to come back in with the white. So the grays, I'm just kind of doing the background of these birds in a gray. And I'll come back in with the white, so I'm not letting the white of my paper show through. I'm just kind of putting in a gray green color here. This needs more white. Let's see if I can't lift a little of that. And that's normally watercolor artists will, I think some of that, I should get clean water, I think, because I'm using that water that has green in it. It's picking up that green. Let's wipe out my water tray here. I wanted more of a grayish color. Let's see. I want water. See if I can't do, and that'll dry lighter. It's got grays in there, but not quite what I was expecting. It's pretty good. It's pretty good with the grays, but I'm going to do white with the fine liner. I'm going to put the white color on it, and I'm going to get rid of some of this because it's almost a green color. It's not really what I wanted. I'm going to get rid of it all. If you want a good amount of paint, you should really have it in a tube, is my opinion. I think it's hard to mix. Maybe if I load that other brush, if I load another brush with that white, get out a clean towel. I'm going to load this other brush here, this one. It'll hold more water and it'll hold more. Because I was getting greens in there that I didn't want. But I think it's hard to move the color, a lot of color from the pans, especially a student grade paint. I think it's harder to do that, my opinion. And let's just come and load my brush off over here. And I'll clean that out. See, there's white in that brush, but at least it's white and not green. And then I'll take this brush, and rather than dip it in the black and then in the white again, we'll dip this in the black and get some black going on in here. It's really a Payne's Gray. That was the color I was thinking of, Payne's Gray. I'm getting old. I don't have that instant recall. That was the gray I was thinking of, Payne's Gray. And I just kind of want to gray out all these birds. And I'll come in with whites. Just kind of a lightish gray color. And it dries okay. But now I want more white. See, and I've got white on there, so I'm going to bring it down into the tree stump. And I could even load it off on this bird, get it, the pigment that's in my brush off on the bird. And then I want to touch, well, I already got a touch here. I think this is a Payne's Gray, which has a little bit of blue in it, so you don't want much. You don't want much, but I'm just toning down. Then I'll come in with some darker colors, and then the white highlights I'll do with the, yeah. Just kind of, almost looks, it almost looks, it depends. When it dries, this one that dried here dried to a nice gray. And I don't know if these are going to or not. I almost have a touch of that green in them. But that's okay too. It will... I don't know where that's coming from. Unless it's coming from my black. But it'll all fall in the background anyway. See, I want to get this brush loaded. Get it loaded with the white and transfer it over here to mix. And in my opinion, it's easier just to squeeze it out of a tube if you want a lot. And I want a lot. Yeah. Let's grab an envelope and just take what's on my brush and kind of... I think this white has a touch of yellow in it. It does. It's more of a cream than a bright white. It's more of a cream color, and I think that's where the... It's not a bright snow white. It's more of a creamy color. I'd call it cream. And I'm trying to keep it clean. My black is up there. Yeah, that's a nice gray. Get it wet. Almost too much. I want to wash. But I can't get a little more white in there. I don't want gray on my brush. Or blue. Let's see if I can't go in there with some grays. It'll all change as I work on it. It's really more the color I want. Grab this towel and blot it a little. All right, let's grab one of these. See, it tends to be dry a little bit different. See if I can't get some of these gray tones on here. I'll do it with this one. I'm just playing. They all turn out in the end. I think see, I've used a lot of this paint that I put out there. I'd love to have I think if you're going to mix color, a big amount of color, you need and again, these are student grade colors, so I'm having to, the intensity is not going to be like a Daniel Smith. I'm having to layer a lot more. Let's get some more of this white here. I think that cream is coming from this one. I think this is more of a snow white. Load my brush. Bring it in there. Let's bring it down here and get what I can off my brush. That black is, I'm going to wipe that off of my brush. A lot of black. Don't need too much. Just streak it down. Let's bring this down a little. Right in here. Some in here. Around the neck. Down in there. Around the head a little. Just kind of putting in a background. Doesn't have to be perfect. Some up around this head there. This, I've already done this one, but I think I want a little bit more of that darker color in here. What ones haven't I done yet? This one. My lid is not laying flat, so it tends to puddle. There, that might help it. Around in the head. And don't worry about the whites. I'll come back in with the whites. In there. It's all dark in there. Could be a little bit darker. Dark in there. Up in here. Just getting in a little bit of shading. 2 or 3 more. Oops, got a piece of yarn. I've been working on my ornament afghan. I got all my 84 rounds done in the center rounds. And now I'm putting the next row on. And I've got 84 of those to do, but I'm doing them in segments of 12 times, I think it's 80, it's either 84 or 82. Let's see, 7 times 12 is 84. So I'm doing 12 of one set of colors, and I'm doing that 7 times with different sets of colors, ornament, afghan. And I'm working on the first set. And I've got 6 of those done. I did one this morning. Well, not done. I've got all the rounds done, and I'm doing the second row. Yeah, that cream color's coming off of my white for some reason or another. It looks creamy to me. It's not a snow white. That's okay too. We'll get the snow white on there. A little bit more touch of black in there. Payne's gray. I don't know why I wanted to call it ultramarine gray. Got the word ultramarine stuck in my head this morning. And I'm just kind of blocking in colors here. I'm not being too precise. That's for sure. Let's kind of smoosh that out a little. And come around this way because, and it dries differently. It kind of blends in. And all right, maybe a little underneath of his beak there. 2 more. Then I'll start detailing. And that's where hopefully the birds will pop out. What, I gotta watch my time. I've only got a little under an hour. Let's grab more white. And then we'll just smush what's on the brush out on the page. I'm gonna add a touch of this black in there, make a light gray. Just kind of putting in some shadows so it isn't a bright white. A little bit more in here. Yeah. It'll all blend in. One more. I don't know if I can get it all out of here or not. Probably have to mix some more. Yeah. I'm getting cut gray, but it's awfully sparse. Let's mix a little bit more. I have a tube of white, Winsor Newton, someplace around here. I keep running across it and thinking I should put it with my watercolors. And I have some Arteza watercolor. I need to get those out, and I think I'll leave them in the tubes. I was starting to put them in half pans, but it might be good to leave those in the tubes for when I want to mix a lot of color like I am today. Let's grab some of this, put down in here. I don't think I'll finish putting those in the tubes. They're sitting over there. All right, that's getting to how I want. We'll leave that. So now, let's go back in. Now, this is not all watercolor. I do use ink and pencil, and let's wash off my desk a little here. Who knows what the back of these envelopes are going to turn out to be. But who cares? I care. Water on my... Guess I should just get out a clean towel. All right. I'm going to have to take out my trash today. Let's stop and look at chat. I'm at a good stopping point. Let me grab one of these and put it here. This is one of my first ones. Let me refresh my chat. Arlene, those adulty things are interruptive. Is Arlene going to go do adult things? Chaz says, Meri, has art and craft always been a part of your life? I was looking at some of your older videos. It really has. Ever since probably about second or third grade. I was telling the story earlier about how I was bored one summer and my mom took me out by the windmill and she sketched the barn. And that was really my first experience with outdoor painting. But, you know, I went to a small school and our elementary teacher, I wouldn't say art was really a part of my life back then, but, you know, we did all those, something like elementary schools do. You put leaves on the windows and decorate for the different holidays, Valentine's and Christmas. But I never got to we did not have formal art classes in our school. You know, it was a small school. But my mother was really artistic and my older sister was artistic. And I think I was such a part of wanting to be like them, you know, little sister, monkey see, monkey do. And I think I picked a lot of that up from them. All right, I'm going to go to ink now. And I'm going to use these pens. They are water soluble, but this is a different type of paper. If this was vellum, or it had a vellum base in it, it would tend to spread more. I find that these pens act differently on these envelopes than they do in my sketchbooks. I'm not sure why, but, well, I do know why. I just said why. I think these envelopes soak up the ink more. So, which is okay, because I will use them on there more. They won't blur as much. So I'm going to do these eyes. And the Sharpie, I can even use the Sharpie on these. Where's my Sharpie? See, no rhyme or reason to my world here. This one, and I don't know what I did with the other one. Is that, no, that's that yellow tends to work good for the beak too. I don't see the other one in there. We'll use the one I got out. This Sharpie makes a finer line. I keep losing my bird. When I started my channel, I started my channel in 2013. I'm having my 10th year anniversary for my channel. And that's when I started doing more art publicly, I guess you could say. I was in some art groups on Yahoo groups and art groups in Facebook. But I started really doing this more publicly when I started my channel. I really don't do art, you know, I'm not in a art group or anything like that locally. I don't like competition in art. I do it for enjoyment, and when I start this competition stuff, you know, you see it as more of a competition than fun. So I really, you know, some people enjoy the competition. This little bird's beak is a little bit, not quite as curvy, but I'm going to curve it down a little. So I'm not into the competitive part of it to where I like the galleries and shows and all of that stuff. It's okay for if you enjoy that, but it makes me paranoid. I have to tell you guys, I don't even like playing dominoes. I tried, and Yahtzee, I don't like playing Yahtzee. If I go and play Yahtzee, I play against myself. I get so paranoid about it. Like, you won last time, it's my turn to win now. Yeah. This has feathers coming out this way. So I'm not a competitive person. I never was. I never played volleyball or, well, I played it, but I wasn't on the team or anything. It was a big thing in our small school. We left that up to the gals that like to compete. Let's see, this kind of comes down more this way. I really need a sepia pen. I'm going to get some of those pens that, like those paint pens that Dee, those white ones, you can get them in colors. I'd like to have some sepia ones. Maybe now that they're doing big in reverse coloring. Let's see, these birds also have a little nose job here. Little gray things up there. Maybe now they'll do more fine point in like sepia colors. You can get them. You can get micron pens that are, and in fact I probably have them in my pochade. Let's bring this out this way. And there's white coming out. And when I do the whites, it'll start picking up all this area. And see, I want the darker browns in here. But I'm just kind of outlining, putting little marks where the feathers, see, kind of see the birdie. And it gets really dark down in here. And it comes down like so. Yeah, I'm not a competitive person. I don't like to, especially with my art. I do my art for enjoyment. I don't sell it. I don't try to make a business out of it. I don't like pleasing people. I like pleasing myself. That was one thing with my art, is people, I have to do what I see when I'm doing my art, not what other people see. And it's, you know, it's hard to, some people are really good at getting into other people's heads. Some artists are really good about getting into other people's heads and doing what they see, what the other person sees. I'm not good at that. When I do, and the thing of it is sometimes too, my hand doesn't draw what my head is seeing. So, and sometimes I don't see things, like I didn't see this claw down here. I saw this one back here. There's a back claw there. Let's see, and this bird's tail kind of comes up a little this way, and then it starts coming down. And I just kind of put in a space for it, but now is the time to bring these feathers down this way. And I tend to make the tail go down a little bit more. Theirs kind of comes out maybe at a, maybe a 30-degree angle, and mine's more at a 20-degree. And then I bring these down here. So now you can see that I'm getting these sketch lines in here. Those grays kind of fall into the background, and they'll fall more into the background when I get those the white spots in there. I'm not trying to use the white of my paper as the white on the picture. I'm going to add white on here. And I also tend to jump around. Like I was working down here on the tail, and then I thought, well, I need to go up here and do this. So I tend to jump around too when I'm sketching. I just go to where my eye wants to go. And I'm kind of defining now this wing. in here. And it's kind of a smaller wing, and then it has this one coming down this way, and then it has another area, the tummy area, that falls down into the feathers down in here. And I wouldn't say I'm doing the best with these, but they're not bad either. Now, on in the part where their two little bodies meet, you can see in here there's white, and then the dark line there. Well, I'm putting in the dark line now, and then when I do my white, I'll come and put in the little white lines in there. But this is just to kind of give me a sense of where their two bodies are, that archway in there. Whoops, I tend to want to zoom in on my painting. I wish I could do that. I wish I could just say, zoom in and I'll draw it and then I'll zoom it out. You can't do that with paper like you can on your phone. I tend to want to do that. And then there's this stump here, and he's kind of holding on to it, the old bird. And I just kind of draw jaggedy lines. And I can be a little bit more hard on the lines on the stump. In here, I'm kind of doing little feathery lines. On here, I can do a little bit more because they're cracks. The wood is cracked. So I can, but there's a lot of little lines in here. It's an old weathered piece of wood. It's really interesting. You could sit for hours and replicate this area in here. It's just really an interesting, and I'm not getting it all because I'm not going to sit for hours. Now, move it over a little. See his claws there? You can see, oh, what happened here? Come on. Yeah, I lost him. I didn't delete him. Here he is. I was working in here, ready to do this. So after you get the background in and you start detailing this, and it'll take me a little while to do these. These will probably go out next week. I want to get my other birds mailed. My other birds are all ready to go. I need to get the envelopes packed and addressed and everything. And I want to send Becky's, some fabric I'm going to send to Becky, and some tats, some tatted butterflies, and yeah, these are kind of a little smaller up in here. I'm put some color in there. Now, darkness in here. Cracks in there. You can just play with this stuff. And then it gets really dark up at the top here. The wood does. Alright, so now we got the little bird's body coming in here. And you can see there's a little bit of a tail. A little bit of a tail going on right in there. And that's what this is. And I'm going to define it, but then I'm going to come in with my white pen to do that line in there. So I'm just kind of defining it with my pen. That'll all get blended in. And I just kind of want to see, he gets these, I call this bed hair here. The white areas, it's kind of looks like it's matted, and whereas over on this other owl, zoom out a little, on this other owl, it's very distinctive white. It's kind of matted down in there, but see on his back, on this side, it looks like, I call it bed hair. And even in here, I think this is probably the female here, I would think. So I'm just going to kind of draw some little lines to define the edge, and I'll come back in and work on that. In here too, I think I'm going to come in with some color in there. It's darker in there. But where did I go? I want to define this area in here a little better. Just kind of just a little line going down to define his tummy. And let's look at his head up in here. See, I don't have that defined. There's some white spots in there, but there's this area around his eye. And he's got an eyelid. And he's got this dark line that comes this way. And it's really dark in there. And then it kind of pushes out like so. And a little bit of white underneath. I don't want to lose that. Well, I can put it back in, but it kind of comes down this way and whooshes out like that, maybe. And then it's defined a dark area right in here. So I'm more illustrative than painterly. My art is more illustrative than doing a painting. Now this is not a bright yellow like his eyes are, but I think I'm going to put a little bit of this on his beak. See, it's more of a goldy yellow. And down here on the feet, just kind of put some in there. Just a little touch. And then let me get out a little brush. And let's see if this yellow. Yeah. Gotta load up my brush. And my head tends to get in the way when I do this detail stuff. And it's so tiny. It's so tiny. And let's add a little light color on there. Maybe a little more yellow on his claws here, and it'll blend in. All right, now I think I want to go to some, actually, and I'm going to use this smaller brush, and I'm going to go to some browns. And where's my, I had an envelope that I was using as a wipe off. What happened to that? It's here somewhere. Well, here it is. I want to test some of these browns. Make sure that the color I'm putting on there is what I'm expecting. So that's green, that's not brown. So we won't go there. I think it was down there. Let's try this again. Yeah, that's a dark brown there. So we'll go with that brown. And if you do something like this, like when I'm out urban sketching, I'll have a smaller watercolor pad, maybe a 5x7. And instead of, you know, when I'm washing off my brushes, I'll take and clean them off on that watercolor paper. And you can actually use that. Now, I did this a long time ago, but you can cut them up like into ATCs and do artwork on your wipe-off sheets. I like to do that a lot when I was urban sketching. Let's see, I think I went with this one here. And we're going to come in here and start putting in some brown areas. And that's really dark, isn't it? Where's my towel? But it'll dry lighter, but I want a little bit, maybe smudge it a little. just going to kind of, I'm going to leave some of the grays. He gets kind of dark in here. Yeah, a little more water. And it's surprising when I put that Daddy Vans on there, it does not smear this watercolor, or I haven't seen it smear it yet. I think by blotting this a little, it tends to blend it in a little bit more. And we're down here, down in here. I'll put some water on that area and blot it. And then underneath is kind of a dark color underneath too. And you can actually see if you get too detailed on here. Let me expand this. You can actually see where it's not just a flat brown. There's darker brown and a lighter brown and a darker brown. And, you know, you could go to town if you were doing a... Let's go over here. And I've got to test my colors here. I don't know these colors as well as I do the other palettes I've used more. That's a dark blue. Let's try this one. And I moved them, that's the dark blue. I moved them around this morning because they were falling out of the... Let's try this one again. That's a dark brown. I was going for the black, but I might settle for... And he has this dark brown going on in here. I only wanted the black. Which one is the black? Well, I might have... I moved my colors around this morning. There, that's the black. Well, it's more of a Payne's gray than a black. But that's okay. Let's go with that one. In here. And up in there. And up in here. Kind of add some dimension to it. But yet leave some of that base color in there. If you know what I mean, Bern. Do you know what I mean, Bern? Vicky. The first time I heard Dee Dee say, you know what I mean, Bern? I thought she was talking to a Bern out in the chat. Kept looking for Vern. Where's Vern? And I don't want to get too dark because it starts getting more of a lighter brown. Let's kind of gray this area out. Kind of blending it in. And then it gets to be a lighter brown and white over here. So I'm going to go to a lighter brown. I need my sheet out here. Test my colors. That's really a reddish brown. I don't know if I have a light one like I want. Maybe this one is more of a honey brown. Yeah. Up in here. More of a yellowish brown. Well, that's more of a yellow ochre. A dark yellow ochre. Add a little brown to that. And it's so soft. When you add the water and then blot it, it softens it. But I'll come back in. I'll come back in with the whites. So I'm just tending to want to put in the feathery stuff. And then I'll come back in with the whites. I really want to go back to that gray that I mixed. And I don't have it. I don't have any up there. A little. Some grays in there. And we will come back in and add the whites, and it'll make a world of difference. And we need to get the colors in here under his eye. And I might need to do that with a pen to get these little lines in here. And little lines coming down. And it's really a thicker line in there. Oh, my tablet is... What's going on with my tablet? Am I losing? I've lost you guys over here. Is it not getting charged? I don't think it was getting charged. Oh, hold on. Maybe I just got the lights down. Where's my lighting? You guys are dark. I can't tell if I'm getting juice or not. No, it says 5%. So I'm going to have to watch chat over here. I lost charge. I'll probably have it unplugged over here. No. Let me look. I piled stuff on it. It's unplugged. And where's the plug-in? Hold on a minute. Hold the phone. Let me plug my tablet. It's down at 5%. Maybe it'll charge up again. Go back here to my YouTube. I still can read. Let's see if I can get into refresh my chat. Roy says, Cheryl, I've been lurking. I'm trying to get set up for a long delayed video. I do not know how. I do know how to make a mess. Oh, now I get back to my birds here. I'm not quite happy with this area yet. It needs to be a little more blendy to me. I'm getting too paranoid about it. Let's kind of blendy this in. And when I get the white in here, it'll really make a difference. A little bit on the nose job here. A little bit of dark in here. Yeah, a little bit of dark in. Grab it from here. And kind of coming down this way. Working up this way. I'm not an animal artist. I'm just doing what I'm seeing. And I want more gray up in here. I'm gonna have to mix some more. I forgot which one was my black. Test my colors out here. Now it's dark. Kind of got some brownish tones in there. Add some brownish tones to that. coming around down in here, underneath of this body. Coming down around this way. Open here a little. Now this will have the white spots on it, so I'll be coming in with that. Yeah. It's not quite the color I want. And now I'm doing this area right in here where it tends to get darker, and it defines it coming down this way. A little working up this way on his back in here. And kind of a little in there. It's kind of blendy. And then it tends to go a little darker. And I'm getting into my whites here with this. I want to do these areas in here. Kind of has the little wing areas. And then this, it comes in there and it's got some, and I'm just kind of, it's not exact. Where's my towel? Kind of blending it in there. And it kind of comes down this way. And I'll get the whites in there, and that'll make a difference. Let's put a little of this yellow in here. You could spend hours doing this, but the thing of it is you don't want to cover it up too much, or you will muddy it all out. I don't want to do that. I want to define this area in here a little bit more. And it kind of comes out. And then these are dark, but I'll put the white stripes in there too, and that will, I need some black with that. I'm getting the brown, but I'm not getting that black in there. Might have to do that with my pen. And this area in here. Smudge it in a little. Oh, that's too much. Lift it a little. There's a lot of texture on these birds, let me tell you. If you could study them, you would see all these subtle changes in tones and everything. Even like, see, I got his eyelid there in a white, but it's really a, you see sort of a light gray. Now I put too much color on it. Let's see if I can lift some of that. There. And I'd like to have that a little bit stronger yellow. And this in here needs to be toned down. Okay, just for the fun of it, let's get out, because it's 8:44. I'm not even near done with this first one. But for the fun of it, let's work with this white pen that I got from Dee Dee the other day. Or not from Dee Dee. Is this it? The Artistro pens. And let's put in some of these white spots just to see how it's wet. Let me blot that. Just to see how it works. Or let's do the white underneath of his. Put in some white. So am I getting white going? Let me get this black. I might have to get this pen flowing. Did I need to wash that tip out? I'm not getting any. There it comes, starting to come. I think I need to wash these tips. I'm going to have to read the instructions. Got a nice color yesterday. I'm not getting anything out of it today. Well, it looks like it's starting to flow, but there we go. I think I have to read the instructions on how to clean these tips. Twist on an old joke, Roy says. How was the Grand Canyon created? Roy, a crafter dropped. I lost my chat. A crafter dropped, what? A bead. Roy, are you dropping beads? I think I'm going to have to clean that pen a little more. Let's see if I can't get some white on here. I'm not sure about this. It might be the pen. Let me get out another one. Hold on. Mary's. Put them back in my box that has the lid. I'm going to have to read. I think Arlene said that you need to clean the tips. She said there were 2 papers in here. Troubleshooting, care. Hand wash in warm water. Remember to be extra careful with your handmade project. We do not recommend using a dishwasher or heavy-duty sponge. fabric instructions, hand wash the item. They're talking about the items, how to activate it. Always wipe away. On the next uses, remove the cap carefully to avoid any paint spillage. Well, I'm not having that problem. If the tip dries out, soak a paper towel in water and wipe the tip down and then reprime it. It's like working with a paintbrush. Well, we'll do that later. Let me get out another one because I want to... Oh, here's the phone again. We'll let it ring. I'm too busy to go mute my phone. Sorry about that, guys. And we got those tips in there. Just annoys me. All right, we're going to keep one out. I'm going to clean that one. Prime this one. I lost my picture again. I want to get some white spots on this bird. See, it did really good job yesterday on that other one, but I had trouble getting the ink out of this one. And I don't think you can see where. Let's prime this one. There it comes. It's coming. I think. Yeah. So I think my problem is I need to clean it off before I put them away. I don't tend to do that. Where did I drop that cap? Put that right there. All right, let's try it again here. I want to put some white spots on this bird. Yeah. This is more what I'm after. And white, a little row of white coming up this way. And little white dots and white eyebrows in here. And it's almost 9 o'clock. I need to stop at 9, so I just wanted to try these whites on here, you know, to be a little more mindful of what I'm doing. Yeah, I've got too much stuff out on my desk. I can't. I don't know, they don't seem to work as well on the watercolor, but maybe I'm this, let me work over this way. I'm not seeing what, I'm not seeing the same thing as if I'd use my, I'll clean that one too after. I'm kind of in a hurry. Let's go to my fine liner. I'll tell you, I'm sold on my fine liners. They do what I want. Was it this one? I don't know which one I was using. This one might not be it. Did that. The only thing about the fine liners, you get that little dot in there, and you gotta You got to be conscious of that. But these birds are dotted anyway. Some smudging in here. So I have to tell you guys, I like those pens, but I think my fine liners, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But, well, you have to clean the tips of the fine liners too. It's a matter of taking care of your tools. Some white around his eye in here. That's a little bit too much there. I don't know if I can lift that up. I need a towel. I need more room. I have this big old paint palettes in my way. Okay, cover up my bird. He's got a white line. He's coming up this way, kind of coming down. He's got little white specks in there. White areas. White coming down this way. And all these bed hair swishes going on in here. So I need to work on this a little more. We'll work on it again tomorrow. I'm not totally happy with this yet. And then the tail has very distinctive markings here. And kind of coming down like so. I need to work on this a little bit more. It needs to be a darker brown in there. I just wanted to get that going. It's not quite done yet. His eye needs to be a brighter yellow in there. I don't have the brightness of the yellow that I want. I might have to do that with paint. I'm going to go, let's see, they said to wet a paper towel. Let's see, what time is it? It's 8:57. Let me grab a clean towel. Where'd I throw them? And I said to wet it down. And when you get in a hurry, things don't cooperate with you. Let's move this. And let's just grab both of these because I had them both open. And I think they just want you to get that so it doesn't dry out on there. You're cleaning the tip. I think that's the reasoning. I'll have to read it again. Let's dry it off over here. And then you reprime it. Put that back on. I'll play with those tomorrow morning. I might have to reprime both of, get them both started again. So Kathy Berg and Colleen APG Jamie, Paint Girly. Look for those channels. Thank you all for joining me. I'll just pick up here. I'm detailing this bird. He's not done yet. He needs a lot of work. But that's where I am on it. And what else did we do this morning? I don't remember. We did all these other birds. This is my first one. Boy, what a difference. What a difference. We painted all the backgrounds here. Well, what did I do with that other one? Put it right here. My pencils. Time goes fast. We painted all of these backgrounds. I think I have 10 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got some more here. 7, 8, 9, and the 10th one is the one that's already done. So we put in backgrounds this morning. And the more I do, the more I understand. I'm just gonna kind of put them like this for my thumbnail. I want to thank you all for coming. It's 9 o'clock. Arlene dropped a link to whose channel? Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Have a super duper day.